Hey, what's up, you guys? WWE fan 0599 here again, and welcome back to WWE Fans TV Recap Show. And today's recap show will be for Supergirl. Now, this episode of Supergirl is entitled Flight or Fight. So, before we get into this episode, of course, there will be spoilers. So, if you have not seen this episode, please do not watch this review. But if you have seen the episode, or if you just don't care about spoilers, continue on watching. So, yeah. So, what this episode is basically about, Kara, she has to fight this guy called the Reactor, because the Reactor is basically leaving destruction all over the city. So, that's what it's basically about. She has to try and stop this guy called the Reactor. So, what did I think of this week's episode? I honestly think it's actually the best episode so far of the season. I thought it was a great episode, honestly. A very great episode. I've been enjoying the series so far. It's been really good. Just hasn't been great. And at least I'm happy that it's at least good. I'm happy that it's not bad or it's not boring me, But this was actually a great episode. I thought it was a great episode, and they did a really good job with the episode. So yeah. So let's get into my positives, and my positives are the acting with the episode. The acting was really good with this episode. I thought everybody did a really good job in this episode. Of course, Melissa Benoist, I believe I said her name right. She makes the show. She's the one that really brings the show to light. She really does. And she does great here as Supergirl. She really does. She's great in this episode. I really enjoyed her. She did do a great job in this episode. Everyone else did a really good job as well. The guy who played Jimmy Olsen, he was really good. The one that plays Kara's sister, she was good too. So yeah, just everybody was really good in this episode. I thought everybody did a good job. The action's really good. I thought it was really well filmed. The action, just the action was really well filmed, in my opinion. The writing was really good. I thought the writing was really good with the episode. Some very nice writing. The directing was great with the episode. Very nice directing. Did look nice. Did do a great job. Whoever directed it did do a great job directing this episode. So yeah. And the visual effects did look good. They've been looking really good, surprisingly, for something that's, a TV show. It's been really good so far. So yeah, the visuals were good. So let's talk about some of the moments that happened in this episode, because there were some moments that did happen in this episode. First being, when we see, this takes place, right after the second, literally right after the second episode. And, we see Kat Grant giving an interview to Supergirl. And, she's, asking all these questions and stuff. And then she drops the fact that her and Superman are cousins. Great. She just made a bonehead decision right there. And, we just see that, she's like, oh, shoot, I should have not said that. So, that was, kind of a bonehead decision, like I said. And also, I like this. You see, Kat Grant, she's asking her, are you into are you in a relationship, or you doing this, that? Kind of giving the typical female questions, when you see, when you see someone interview an actress, that's the kind of questions they get. It was kind of a little bit of a jab at that, because they don't get, the same questions as the men do, so that was a nice little jab at that. Maybe I might be going a little bit too into it, but I just thought it was a nice little jab at that, so yeah. Then when you see the Reactor, we see the Reactor for the first time, and they fight for the first time, and she just gets her butt handed to her, just handed to her. She's, completely losing this matchup, and I like seeing that. This is, I know we're only 3 episodes in, but this is probably the most difficult villain they've had so far, and probably will maybe for a while. This just was really, really difficult for her. She was just, trying her best, and she just kept on getting her butt handed to her, You know, and it was kind of tough to watch, honestly. So yeah. But, you know, when we see reactors, because, you know, Supergirl destroyed the suit, so he needs to get more nuclear stuff for the suit. And, you know, he captures this guy called Max Upwell, I think that's what his name was. You know, he captures him, and he rebuilds his suit for him. And, you know, Supergirl, you know, saves him, but she does get beat up by the reactor really bad, just like in the last fight. You know, she does get beat up pretty badly by the reactor. And guess who shows up? Superman! Superman shows up. I was like, oh, didn't expect that. You know, Superman does show up. Of course, we don't see his face or anything. We just see his back, kind of like how they did in the pilot episode. But we do see Superman. And that was cool. I like that. I was like, oh, there's Superman, you know, helping her out. And, you know, I like that. That was cool. So, yeah. Then when we see, you know, Jimmy reveals the fact that he called Superman to go and help her. And, you know, when we see that he has this watch for, like, it has a Superman button on it, and he can call Superman. What? Like, I just thought that was funny, because, like, really, an actual call Superman watch, like, really? So, yeah, but, and, you know, she's basically mad at him because she didn't want that to happen. She wanted to handle it on her own, so, yeah. Then when we see at Cat Grant's party for the whole Supergirl article thing, we see that the reactor does show up at the party. Great. And, you know, causing destruction and everything. And we find out that Supergirl has to put her hand in, like, liquid metal in order to take the nuclear chest thing that's making him, I guess, keeping him alive and stuff. So she grabs that, takes that out of him, and, you know, that's the end of it. And it was a really cool fight for when they were fighting. It was a pretty good fight, so really like that. So, yeah. And in the final moment of the episode, a really nice way to end the episode. I think this was a great ending to the episode. You know, we see Clark messaging Kara saying, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, and saying that, you know, you did something that I couldn't do because that was Superman. Superman couldn't basically take down the reactor, and you know, and that was really nice. Finally, someone gave her some courage, and I like that. You know, I felt like Clark was finally the one that gave her the courage, and finally, you know, told her that she's doing great, and not telling her that she's doing bad. So I like that. That was a nice way to end the episode. So yeah. My only two problems with the episode. This is a pretty big problem I have with the episode. Okay, this is probably the only time I'm ever going to say this, but can we please shut up about Superman, okay? Oh, it's Superman this, Superman that. Oh, why can't we just call Superman to do this? Why can't we just, Superman would have not have done this, like, oh my goodness, like, can we just please shut up about that? Like, she's just starting. She's just starting. Okay? Did you think Superman was perfect once he started? No, he did have flaws. He wasn't perfect. Watch Man of Steel. He couldn't fight the first time in Man of Steel. When he was in his first fight, he was losing and it destroyed half the city. You know? Because it was his first fight. And, you know, so yeah. You know, did you think he was perfect? No, she's not going to start off perfect either. So can we please quit it with the whole can we call Superman thing? Just tone it down just a bit. So yeah. And some of the pacing with the episode was a bit boring at times, and I was just a bit bored, so yeah. But, so yeah, this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it, so yeah. So it's time for my official grade on this episode, and my official grade on this episode is an A-. It's a great episode. I personally loved the episode. It was a great episode. Definitely the best episode of the season so far, so yeah, it definitely gets an A-. So what do you guys think of this week's episode? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm WWE Fan 0599, and we'll see you about later. Peace.